In this video, we'll learn how to configure the lab providers in our Dynamics 365 Intelligent Order Management trial environment. I'm in my trial environment here, and in the last video we imported the solution that gives us these new providers, but let's go ahead and configure these. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over to my Maker portal here. I'm going to make sure I'm in the right environment. So in this example, my trial environment, and then I'm going to come down to our custom connectors. When we imported that package, we got our customer connector for the request bin. And so I'm skipping those steps of registering that, but you'll have to sign in and you get a request bin account and therefore then configure an endpoint there. So once you've got that endpoint, I'm going to go and configure it. And in which case we need to specify the endpoint here. So I'm going to put in the endpoint that I've got. So we'll paste that in here. And then all we need to do is simply hit update connector and let that run. Okay, and then I'm simply going to close this. Now, if we go back to our provider, let's do the order intake first. So I'm going to say add provider and we'll say create. And then you'll see the connections we need is a Dataverse connection and an Outlook connection. So let's first go to our Dataverse connection. We'll retrieve our link. All right, so I've already got my Dataverse connection from when I configured the environment. So I'm simply going to copy this and then we're going to put it back into our provider configuration. So we'll click save and then we'll click activate to activate this part of it. And then we can say save and close. Now the next one is Outlook. So we need an Outlook connection. So let's go and go back. And then we'll say new connection, and then we'll search for Outlook. And so in this example, we're using Outlook.com. So we're going to add this connector, and we'll say create. And then it's going to ask me to sign in. So I'll just pause the video and sign in. All right, so once we've signed in, it's going to ask for information about the access requests. I'm simply going to say yes, and I'm going to skip this from the moment. All right, so that's our Outlook connector created. I'm going to click on it, and then we're going to get the connection string from the top, and then we're going to come back and paste it in here. So we're going to click save, and then we're going to click activate, and then save and close. All right, so that's all we need to do on the order intake provider. So I'm simply going to say save and then activate. Alrighty, so that's our order intake provider active. So we can close out, and if we come down to our install, we'll see that we've now got the order intake. So let's configure the next one, which is our fulfillment. So this is our lab fulfillment. So we'll say add provider, create. And so this is where we need these connections. So let's go through the process. So first we'll need Dataverse, and I've still got that tab open. So let's go over and get our Dataverse connection. We'll copy the URL and paste it back, and then we'll say save, activate, save and close. The next one is Outlook. So again, we'll go over here, connections, Outlook, copy the URL, and then we'll paste it back in, and we'll say save and activate, and then save and close. And the last one is the request bin. So we need to add the request bin. So what we want to do is say new connection, and then we'll search, and we'll find the request bin. So we'll click add and create. Okay, so that's it created. We'll click on it so we can get the connection reference, and then we'll bring it back and copy it here. So again, we'll hit save, activate, save and close. Now the last one is our parameter, and this is our email that we're going to use. So in my case, I'm going to put in my email. All right, so I've got my email address, and so this is what I'm going to use for testing. So just check that it's saved. Yep. So once I've done that, all we need to do is say save and then activate to activate the provider. All right, so now that's activated, we'll close out. And if we go to our install, we'll now see we've got the order intake and the fulfillment. So that's them configured. Now we can go and use them in our orchestration so that we can go through an end-to-end flow with these and, for example, the BigCommerce one that I've got configured here. Dynamics 365 Intelligent Order Management is a new application in the family of Dynamics 365 applications. Built on the Microsoft Power Platform running on the Microsoft Azure Cloud. To learn more about Dynamics 365 Intelligent Order Management, visit our community site, documentation site, marketing site, or our blog at these links.